Good morning. Today I'm going to be talking from Matthew 22, 34, all the way to 40. I'll start this morning by just telling you a little bit about what brought me to know God. That's where I'm going to start, right at the beginning of the journey with God. So, the first thing that really opened my eyes to God was my Young Life leaders. Now, we've spoken of Young Life before, Young Life, the youth group, Young Life. So the leaders there showed me God. And then after that, it was Wormley Free Church. It's the next step. Getting to know all the members, everyone here gathered, was another window, another opportunity to get to know God. And then serving at Young Life camps, whether it was doing whatever, just helping it run. I saw it in my colleagues around me, helping serve young people in order to show them God as well. And then after all that, when I discovered God, God himself showed me what God is all about. And what's interesting about that is then looking back at all the things that God did before I knew that God was there, which is incredible. It's incredible, the hindsight of that, all the things he's done before knowing him. Oh. Therefore, you can see how important it is that those around me showed me God through their actions, through what they said. See how important that is. I mean, without those first few steps, I may have not got to know God. And I think that's the same for many people. It's the trigger, it's the catalyst. It's just maybe inviting someone to something, or it's showing love through what you do. So, back to Young Life. This is a fantastic story, and one I love looking back on. Going to Young Life, being invited to Young Life, Christian-orientated youth group, but not overtly. Being called along by a friend, do you want to come along? It's fun, there's some games, there's some food, and it's all free. Which is very alluring and rare. So I went along, and it was good fun, a bit crazy. A few times said I'd never go back, always went back. Almost every time said I wouldn't go back. There's something about it, and that's the mystery behind it. There's the pull, and you're not entirely sure what it is initially. But over the years of going to Young Life, I was an aspiring magician at the time. I still am, in some respects. In some respects, still am. But at that point, my ambition was to go out, be a magician, have stage shows, big, fantastic, amazing, great. And my Young Life leaders were interested in that, and therefore interested in me. Do you want to put on a show, Eddie? Do you want to be in the talent show? No. Too scary. But I thought being a magician, you kind of have to perform to audiences. So I did it, and it was great. And then there was another show, and another show, and another show, and another show. And I just love this story because people are like, why does that matter? It's because that's an opportunity. It's because they're saying, you're interested in magic, we're interested in you, so we're going to help you pursue something that you love doing. Rather than saying, magic's silly, you should go into something else. Which could so often happen. So, that was great, that was good. Given loads of shows, kindness, love. And I started to see that it was the kindness and the love that was sort of pulling me back. It was that acceptance. It was walking through the door. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, background. You walk through the door and you're just Eddie, or you're just James, or whoever you may be. You just walk through the door. That's it. You're, who you are, there and then. And you're accepted. After a while, you start thinking, there's a lot of kindness here, there's a lot of love, and it's free. What's the catch? What do they want? What do they want? I mean, free magic shows? Free magic shows, yeah? Something else, I don't know. But there must be something further down the line, but I couldn't see what it was. Until, after a few Young Life camps, I discovered through testimonies, through story, through sharing, My young life leaders were following someone called God, and they loved God, and that was their motivation. Motivation. I think that is so important. That's the word I'm going to try and focus on this morning. The motivation for kindness. It was their love of God. So, I'm going to read now from Matthew 22:34, which includes characters: Pharisees, Sadducees, and then we'll talk about the Ten Commandments, and the law and the prophets. So, but when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Jesus: "Teacher, which is the great commandment of the law?" What is the greatest commandment of the law? How can there be a greatest commandment of the law? And he said to him, "You shall love your Lord, your God, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbour as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets." Now, it intrigues me. The first time I ever read that, I thought, how can there be a greater commandment? Does that mean that if I just, I love God and I love my neighbour, I can go and rob a shop? Or I can go around telling lies? But it's okay, because I love God. And really, the answer to that is no. Why would you? I think that's important, because there is a choice. If you're in a relationship with God and know Him, and then know Him even greater through Jesus and the teachings of Jesus in the Bible and through teachings and talks, you would know that our love for God and our love for Jesus inspires us to be like Jesus. We want to be like Him. As Christians, be a representation, be a role model, be as a reflection as closely as possible to the teachings of Jesus. Now why? It's because, I suppose, if I think of an example, so you look for a fashion magazine, GQ, or something similar, maybe any magazine, you see advertisements, you see, suave guy sitting by the beach or in a bar, or a girl, by a pool, and you've got sunglasses, a dress on, a suit, really big watch. You look at that magazine and you think, I'm going to buy that fragrance because I will become that. Or he uses that, or she uses that fragrance, which immediately makes you cool. Yeah. We all do it. And that's just pictures, that's materialistic stuff, of the world. You can see it, you look at it, and we get drawn in by that as humans. Just, that's good. In all different senses. So in the same way, we see the love, we see the kindness, we see the ways and the works of God and Jesus. But it's different to that magazine because we know God and we know Jesus and He knows us and He acts in our life. He's with us. He's not just a magazine picture and that's it, face value. But we're drawn in by that. So think about how much more we can be inspired by someone that loves us and be with us. Now, I want to share a quick revelation I had at the top of a mountain in Spain a few weeks ago. Now, this is my experience in Christianity. This is my experience of faith. This is my what I've seen, what I've learned so far on my journey, whether it's been 5-6 years now. I learned something, and I suppose to some it might be, one of the first lessons. Others maybe not heard yet. So I'm going to share it anyway. I'm going to do a little illustration now. So, bear with me. Snippet graph. Lovely, very nice. I'm going to put that there, at arm's reach. Hi, David. Hi. Oh, nice, isn't it? Do you fancy that? I do fancy that. When was the last time you had a chocolate bar?
Oh, I don't like to say.
I can answer that for you. It's been too long.
Oh, yeah,
It's been too long. I think it's time. You should have another one, really. I mean,
yeah, I feel good.
Give you a boost, you know. Right, I'll switch you characters now. Hi, Rebecca. How you doing? Doing well? Fantastic. Would you mind giving these bananas to David? They're a really healthy option, and I'm afraid that he's being tempted by something unhealthy. I mean, sugar can give you a big high, but then you crash afterwards and that sort of thing. So would you mind giving this? It's for his well-being.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving that to David?
But I've got a slightly healthier option.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Can I have both?
Now, the words that came to me while I was on top of that mountain was these words exactly. The enemy talks. God acts. And I've just, through my experience, that's completely true. So in that little reenactment, or enactment, through experience, I feel like the enemy talks a lot. And now that's quite an obvious one, sort of saying, go for that, be tempted, grab that chocolate bar, you need it, you want it, when it might not be particularly good for us. But obviously, there are lots of other situations where we look in the mirror and we think, oh, we don't look very good. Ah, you don't. Don't feel very good today. You know, go out, go and get, maybe you need to get something to help, perk you up a bit. Or, oh, someone's fallen over there on the street, it'd be a bit embarrassing to go and help them. Yeah, it would. Keep walking. It would be very embarrassing, just don't get involved. Whatever it may be, your doubts. Oh, God's not there. He's not helping me at all. He can't see me. Yeah, it's abandoned you. It's all talk. It's all talk. But the complete contrast I've seen with God is that He acts. He does things. He gives you things. He gives you people. He helps you through talking to others to help you. So God may ask Rebecca to help David. And on a vast scale, God gives you what you need to help someone else. And that really struck me, hearing that. God is just like a loving parent who doesn't promise and not deliver. He does things. He's always there. The enemy goads, persuades, lures you stray from the path. But what is also very difficult, and I heard at a Young Life camp once, is it's quite difficult to determine the difference between, is this God talking, is this me talking, or is this the enemy talking? You have all these almost three voices in your mind. And the way it's difficult. It's difficult to know. I find it difficult to know. I mean, is this me thinking I should do this, or is this God pushing me into this? Is this the enemy tempting me to do this, or is this God teaching me? But the way I can now determine that a lot easier is I look around me. Where am I? What have I been given? What do I have? The things around me physically. What have I got to be able to go out and achieve something, or go and do something, or help someone? Whereas the enemy doesn't bring you much, but he takes you to things. He lures you rather than gives. So the commandments, the 10 commandments, do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not covet, and the greatest one of all, of which Jesus has told us, love your God. Love Father, that is God. And second, love your neighbour. Why did he say 2 when they only asked him what the greatest was? Because God is in all of us. And when we're treating one another the way we do, we're treating God that way. So the commandments, are they a set of rules? Do you need a set of rules in a relationship? I don't know. Well, that's exactly it. A lot of people think from the outside the perspective of Christianity is a set of rules. That you look at it, can't have fun, can't eat that thing, can't go here, can't go on that adventure, it's a little bit too out there. And that is the perception many have of it. It's not that, is it? Christianity is not a set of rules. Christianity is a relationship with God. Foremost. Because in that you think, when you're in the relationship and you're in it, you know that, and you know God. You know what to do and what not to do. The more you know Him, the more the teachings that you hear. And if you stumble, if you should fall along the path, does God abandon you? No. He forgives you. As long as you understand that you've done wrong, or you admit that you've done wrong, God forgives you like a loving parent does. And He shows you a better way. He teaches you. It's about a relationship, and it's a love for God. And that's why it's the greatest commandment. Because really, if you have a love for God and you know God, the rest of it should become easier to identify whether it's right or wrong. It's that thing. If you love God and you know God and get inspired by Him, so much more than that magazine picture, you would just do His way and live as closely to Jesus as possible. So love your neighbour as well, because He is in them, and God is shown through you.